It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Muriah Afolabi Brown as always. I have the ladies with me. Hello. Tokwe, how are you doing today?
Grateful.
How was your weekend?
Weekend was interesting. Interesting. As usual, I was out of town, but I'm grateful to God. And I feel like I went to do a documentary. So after doing my cow sharing and observing, my friend, my business partner and friend went to where where they do usual butchering and slaughter of cow, other abattoirs, and we saw how kerosene is used. So I'm going to release that video tomorrow. The process of the meat that we eat is terrible, Mariah. I'm looking at the video and I'm wondering, am I be eating like this all my life? You know, but that's what we do. And I think that the government did a bit to step into it, but we need to do more because the average butchery or butcher person usually pours kerosene on the meat and then they roast it. So, and somebody was saying that she bought meat from a pharmacy, and that it was smelling like there was petrol on it, and she didn't understand until she saw my video where I said that's how they usually process meat, which is very, very wrong.
Petrol is the least toxic substance used to the skin, the ram or
and
cow.
It's wrong.
There's tire burning, which is more toxic.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of that, so I personally try to control what I buy and do it at home.
Do yourself.
But it's a lot of work. It is.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's that. You know the
I know, but just that I just used to buy. I never
just buy.
So the list of the process.
I felt that my marketing would be that we remove, instead of you removing flecks of wood, because that's what we do. When you're cleaning your meat, what you're trying to remove is they use wood to chop it. So you're removing wood is beyond that, because our processing doesn't even involve wood. But there's a whole lot you're learning, and
you're in a whole new,
we can push the government to.
You're in a whole new sector.
As in, I'm telling you, I'm a
need
student.
to go and learn Islamic sharing.
Yeah.
Because all the people I marketed to, they wanted to know whether it was proper Islamic sharia.
But you're doing it yourself, though. It seems like you're doing it yourself. You're not letting the people help you do it.
No. They just participate. I'm sure you can do it yourself. But
you're doing the cutting and the.
No, we can't do cutting. But we have to teach the person, because what we're doing. There are videos where we did a course, and the course has videos, and most the guys that we're using are not used to that system. So we show them the video, show them how it's done, show them how we use the brush to clean it, and then make them do it. They say, well, we have to wash with soap. I say, you cannot wash with soap. They say, we must wash with soap. I say, why? You put soap in what we're eating. No, we must not. As in, like, because they're used to what they've been doing, and trying to teach them something new was a bit tough. But I'm excited about the journey.
Makeup to
as the Muriah, this 2020 has been.
Now a farmer, now a butcher. I mean, like definitely.
Totally.
How are you doing, Nima?
No, it's fine. Thank God.
Anything? This is your lally on
very
your skin.
unusual
What's
Salah.
going on? Okay,
so my father's adopted son, his sister came and we're just gisting about how my dad used to pay for lali for us every Eid before I got married. And so she said she could do it, and everybody got lali done.
It looks really good.
And the gist.
Never in my life done it before.
No,
Me too.
Please do. Please try it. It's very nice.
So how was the
gist was fun. We were just talking daddy gist, and I heard about my fans abroad. Mr. Olumide Adegbeso and Sister Rashida. Rashida actually is my sister-in-law's elder sister, Adegbeso. How they watch your view from day one till date, and so they're all the way in the US. I must say thank you to all of you. I must say thank you to the Satellite Town Forum. Everybody decided. I thought they were coming for Salah party, but they were calling me for condolence. They came, they gathered in the house yesterday. It was a full house,
nice.
But I think I've outgrown my 2-bedroom flat. I need to move. I need to move.
You've got to do it.
Amen.
Then, I mean, I was really surprised that people actually came out for this Salah.
People
I did not go anyway.
People came in small groups, but then my own residence also crashed, and it was just a full house. People, I didn't know your dad first. I just didn't want to announce. I didn't want the crowd. I did not want.
Now showed up.
I was home all throughout Salah, thinking that we're all going to be home. But just for me to drive around Magoda and I was seeing what's happening. People are powering the corner. Let me. If I have just gone out to do my parties, I'm a party rocker doing Salah. I didn't go anyway.
All the love I got this Salah was amazing. And I said I must shout out to everybody again. So Elder Matthew, Olorun Shogo, Omoshona is Bumi's relative too. I got all the love messages. Thank you, everybody.
Share the money.
Hey, no. Turn the love to cash.
With all the English are speaking, did you bring our own round?
I dare not bring it now.
I dare not. No lawyers, they know how to use English to be scattering somebody.
I didn't cook it, so don't give me standard check. Tokwe always checks for pepper.
All right, let's go on a break. At least I know I have another meet today. Me, honestly, I thought my neighbors.
Right, I usually for like 4-5 places over the.
My neighbors did me well, but that was it.
Oh,
I didn't get salad.
Don't worry, they'll still be just supplying. I saw the meeting people were eating on Friday.
Yeah, Wangaru sent
people
us
ate meat. Where's mine?
Wangaru was
Ejeto.
Let's go on a break. We'll be right back. More serious issues. Let's start with the nation. It's Monday. We have to get serious, you know?
Serious business.
We're going to start with Daily Sun. Fears in Abuja over spike in COVID-19 cases. Nation's capital displaces Lagos, leads the chart. 2023 Igbo groups for Southeast presidential candidate. APC PDP bicker over Edo Ondo Guba polls. PDP Atiku Serap kick over mountain debt. And will set up Igbo counter-vigilantes in North, says Kanu. Okay, let's take with the major headline. Abuja has obviously beaten Lagos.
Yes, in the past 3 days, Abuja has had a spike and Lagos is recording less than that amount. In fact, Abuja had about 160 cases, with Lagos having just half of that. With that news, I kind of believe the news online on Elsewise about Lagos going to shut down some of these isolation centers for not having enough cases. You know, they're just running centers that have no patients. They've had a serious decline in the cases that they've had in Lagos. So that's a plus for us.
News.
Very good news. So it seems to lend some credence to the news of reopening schools and mosques and all that, because, you know, I think Lagos has finally gotten it right on this.
Well, Abuja was also saying that people are not actually adhering to the guidelines. That's what we want to do.
That's the worst one.
In Abuja, of course, the face mask and all that, it's not been enforced in Lagos as well for me.
Yeah, going forward. Let me take the other story on the Igbo groups insisting or saying that 2023 has to be an Igbo president, and they're coming together to see who can be that candidate representing Southeast, which is a good thing. And also, in a related story, Arewa Youth, which is a northern group, are also saying that let us have an Igbo presidency for the 2023.
Before we now start doing
meritocracy.
meritocracy.
That, we can now go into issues of merit and competence. But for now, let us complete the rotation. That's from Arewa Youth, the northern group. They're saying that we should complete the rotation first.
Because how come they're now bringing stories of...
At the end of the day, everything is just politics. We'll just see what happens. Moving on now to the nation. Federal government states meet on next step as exit pupils return. INEC seeks more powers on election process and primaries. CBN reports banks raise lending rates to 30%. Fasomi's funeral rites begin today. Masari, only 30 policemen in 100 Katsina villages. And federal government saves 120 billion naira monthly from digitalization. I read that story, but let's take the major headline on the
major headline. I want to take the INEC story because the INEC chair was Professor Mahmoud Yakub. Mahmoud Yakub is speaking up concerning getting more powers for INEC. They want to have a firmer grip on primaries within the parties. That's part of the thing. There are processes, primaries, how the date is picked, and tough conditions for unqualified candidates and parties presenting such people. And they also want to stop registration of voters 90 days before the election. So a lot of things that they are pushing for in line to strengthening our democracy. I wish that our houses of assembly would grant them the power to do that, because internal democracy from the party is essential to what finally happens on the election dates.
I was going to take the story on the fact that Nigeria said they've saved 120 billion from digitalization. What they did was the IPPIS, that's the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, and the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System. So what they did was they swept about 773,000 civilian salaries from 602 agencies and ministries and departments, put them under these payroll system. And because of that, they were able to save 120 billion. So imagine how much was going through the cracks.
Well, I have a friend who hasn't been paid for 3 months working in one of those agencies that or bosses, or guys have not aligned with IPPIS. He hasn't been paid. So in their calculation now, they'll say they've saved money, but they're still going to have to pay them back because this agency hasn't been paid in 3 months.
And as the agency applied, they haven't
integrated.
So that's a different issue.
So, but they'll still pay them.
Yeah, it's a different issue. So once they integrate, then you get paid. But the issue is that you have to get integrated into the IPPIS. Okay, moving on now to a different paper. Let's go to Daily Trust. Chemicals in preserved beans cause cancer and kidney disease.
Why didn't I say that?
Southern Kaduna can seeks more action as CP deploys additional troops. Man invents breast cancer detecting bra to save rural women. How SMEs access 50 billion naira CBN loan. And parents reject 25,000 naira COVID-19 test levy for students. Let's take the major headline.
So this article, Daily Trust, well done again. I always like this kind of your article, shows about how samples of beans was taken from 6 different markets, checked for the kind of preservatives used, and discovered that long-term use of these preservatives that our people use, let's just call it one name, sniper, is also used, results in cancers for the consumers, even by contact. So in the article, you see on the picture story, on the front page, the picture on how this thing is transmitted, just by inhaling, by absorbing, by touching, coming in contact alone, not talk of ingesting. When we do eat the beans, we're exposed to these kind of illnesses because of the kind of preservatives used. And some farmers are saying they usually don't want to put it, but their beans will over the time get weevils, and people would think it's bad. So even me now in my mind, I'm just thinking, just eat weevil beans.
Because here from the paper it says inhaling, absorption, direct skin contact, you carry the beans in your hand.
Because the chemical is something you pick off and then you get on your own self. So
quick solution for everybody eating beans. We've said it years back on the show. Parboil your beans, pour out the water. Some people advise soak your beans overnight, pour out the water. But the long-term solution is to stop farmers and resellers of beans from putting these chemicals to preserve their beans.
We should have proper regulations among our farmers, even in the marketplaces, because the videos that surfaced from the Oyinbo market where the sniper was obviously being
sprinkling it.
Yes, let's move on.
Ogun State quickly mentioned. Ogun State parents are protesting against the 25,000 naira that is going to be charged for test of COVID for all their students in SS3 that are going back to school, and malaria tests. So the parents are saying that they are taxpayers, and why would you offer free tests to people in public schools and discriminate against them by saying they should pay the 25,000 naira for private schools? Some even said that when they got to the testing centers, people in the testing centers had already tested some people all round without checking if they were public or private schools. Then some of them are implementing and putting that burden on them. Some parents have more than one child and they're having to pay 25,000 naira per child. It's not convenient for them. Okay,
moving on to The Punch. Poor preparations threaten students' resumption this week. Businessman attempts to jump into Lagos Lagoon over 500,000 naira debt. Coronavirus test in 61 laboratories, says NCDC. Marketers stockpile petrol. August price may hit 150 per litre. Okay, let's talk about the major headline very quickly.
Okay, so this businessman, Biodun Adeyinka, taking a loan from a microfinance bank, and the interest alone, a loan of 390,000, and the interest alone made it over 500,000 that he will pay back. And his ability, because the investment went bad, and he was not even able to have capital, talk less of the profit or interest to pay back. The man just wanted to go and commit suicide, and he was rescued by the police officers. And our governor, thank you very much to Governor Sanwo-Olu, is come to the rescue.
Well, last time I checked, I thought that attempted was a crime.
It is a crime. Right now, the police PRO, Balaya Kana, was saying that he's presently being going through counseling.
Okay. All right, so the major headline, states are preparing. Some Lagos states and amongst others are going to be opening on Tuesday, that's tomorrow. Others, I think, Oyo starting today. A few other states are still planning, but the Punch did a report saying that many states, Sokoto, a few others, are not ready. They don't have wash-hand basins in their schools.
Just not ready. The basic, what you just mentioned, the basic amenities that we should
not available.
Are not available. Yes. So if government is continuing to pay lip service and and is sincere about this kind of things, people
so marketers are stockpiling for you. Yeah. They say prices might, every month there's a release from PPRA of the new prices per month, and they're thinking because the price might go up to 150, marketers are now stockpiling the fuel, waiting to make a profit by the time the price goes up.
Okay, we have to wrap up now. I want to take a story in Vanguard. We can't take that story, but it's important to see the issues, NDDC, the government. We can't take it, unfortunately. We have to go on a break. That's all we can take. Let's stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Person, NAPTIP, there are close to 5,000 Nigerians stranded in Lebanon, with many more wandering around the world. Last week, a video of 30 Nigerian ladies trafficked to Lebanon emerged. In this viral video, they were appealing to the Nigerian government and other prominent Nigerians to come to their rescue. You can watch this clip for a moment.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, our government. Please, we are pleading to you. We are guests from Lebanon. We are stranded. Please, all of us that we are sitting here, we are all sleeping in this same room. We are cooking our food inside this room. We are sleeping here. Everything we want to do inside this one room. Please, we need your help. We need your help, our government, our pastors, our afars, our imams. Please, we need your help. You will not lose your children. You will not cry over your children. Please help us. We have regretted coming to this place already. Please, we need your help. We need to go back to our father's land. We want to come home. Please, everybody, please, plead to the government that we want to come home. Tell them we want to come home. Please, we are begging you. Please come.
All right, so we do have reports that NAPTIP has actually already said they're working on this to ensure the safe return of these women, amongst others. And I think Abika Dabiri also tweeted that NAPTIP is on top of this. But we have with us on the show the Public Relations Officer, Nigerian Immigration Service, Muhammad Babandede. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Hello?
It's not the contractor that is on board. It's the service PRO.
Okay. Oh, I do apologize.
Deputy Controller of Immigration, James Sunday.
Oh, Mr. Sunday, I do apologize for that.
The service PRO.
The service PRO, yes. Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
In cases like this, we wonder, what role does the immigration play in ensuring the safe return of these women? Can you hear me, sir? Hello, sir.
On a very serious, I'm hearing you.
Yes, okay.
You see, every agency has its own statutory assignment. Are you hearing me?
Very clearly, sir.
It is not within the purview of Nigerian Immigration Service to return Nigerians from outside the country. But it is part of our assignment to liaise with agencies such as NAPTIP that is saddled with that assignment, and the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, now it's NIDCOM, to make sure that after federal government must have approved that such number of individuals that are outside the country, either stranded or for whatever reason, are to be brought back home, team that the federal government may decide to co-opt, either with immigration or without immigration, will always go out sure that the number of people that were said to be stranded are actual Nigerians. That's the number one issue. So that you don't bring citizens of other countries to your own country in an effort to bring in your citizens. So the first thing is to actually confirm whether they're actual Nigerian citizens, after which each and everyone will be profiled state by state for the purpose of establishing from which state each person comes from. And then each state government is also equally notified that their citizen, social number, are returning back home for the purpose of rehabilitation. But for us in immigration, the most important thing that I want Nigerians to know is that the best standard practice globally is that passport and visa is the most effective and the best means of control movement of people. We have got into educating, informing, and also doing interagency relationship in order to send Nigerians on the ills of either being trafficked or smuggled. Because there are two things involved in human mobility. It's either the person is trafficked, which we call trafficking in person, or is smuggled, which we call smuggling of migrants. There are two different things entirely.
Okay, sir. Thank you for getting us there. So visa and passport are the most valid means of human transportation to other countries. But there are people who do this legally.
No.
In the Middle East, the reports so far are that... You wanted to say something, sir? Okay, so...
Passport and visa are the most effective means of control.
Okay. So yes, now, there are people who validly have valid passports, valid visas for these countries, but the people who arrange these things for them, get them there, and still sell them into slavery. So what control do you have to ascertain that they have valid jobs to do there? Because most people go there claiming to go for employment. Some will say they're going for teaching. They end up there in terrible conditions. And this, over 5 years, reports from the Middle East and Asian countries about how Nigerians are degraded in those countries is disheartening. What can the Nigerian Immigration Service do at the point with a valid visa to check, to ensure that it's what the person is going there for that they end up there doing?
I'm showing you a document right now. Okay. It reads Passport to Safe Migration. This is one of the documents that Controller of Immigration Service, when he came on board, launched all over the Federation. It's a document that contains safe means of migrating. It is a document that explains certain ills of traveling out of the country irregularly. You know, professionally, we don't use the word illegal. It's irregular. It's either irregular movement or regular migration. So what I'm saying in essence is, the document I'm showing you on your television is called Passport to Safe Migration. You can send your officials here in Abuja to come and pick a copy from our office. It has to do with every information that every traveler is supposed to know when he's traveling out of the country. And for a very good reason, Nigeria Immigration Service has not left her assignment in the hand of anybody, because even in the year 2015, when the Immigration was amended, certain aspect of our law was brought to bear. Like Section 61 of the Immigration Act 2015, that has to do with the establishment of the Directorate of Migration and Divisions of Regular and Irregular Migration. That is, the division that will take of regular migrants and irregular migrants. Then Section 62, A to W, that deals with the responsibility of the division of irregular migration. And what are these responsibilities? Enforcement, coordination, facilitation, strengthening and enhancing effective legal means of international cooperation as regard to regular migration. Supervising and controlling, coordinating of rehabilitation of smuggled migrants is also part of the responsibility of this regular.
Let me get in a few more questions for you, sir.
Also have session.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. I wanted to ask concerning what the ones within your control. Now, you can't control what people do when they have legit visas and passports to leave the country, and maybe somebody takes advantage of them. But we can control manning our borders against people who go through other non-flight related. You know, flight is easy to guard, but we know that people go through land borders to do long road travels outside this country. What is the... I see effectiveness of immigration at the airport, but when people go through land borders, they are not as effective as they are at the airports. And what can be done to mitigate this movement of people en masse without any form of identification across borders?
The Comptroller General of the Immigration Service, when he came on board, one of the priorities that he put in place was effective border management and control. And he set up for the establishment of 4 operating bases. We have about 14 of them across the country. These are specialized group of officers that are trained to man the flanks. They don't patrol the interior, they man the flanks of the border. And that is why we have been recording massive arrests of irregular migrants across our border frontiers. In recent times, if you have been monitoring at the air, at the land border, and at the seaport, even though the seaport issue is not too prominent, but pronounced, but the land border and the airport, we have serious arrests that was carried out and which we also published. So our officers are working to.
Hello, sir, are you there? I think you're muted. You mistakenly muted yourself. If you can hear me, you need to unmute. Okay, so we'll still try to connect with him back. Maybe we can use this to go on a quick break. Come back, we'll try to get the connection back. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your.
Thanks for staying with us. So we still have the PRO with us. Hello, sir, are you still there? Hello, sir. Okay. Okay, so pretty much, I mean, I know we did try to get the DG of NAPTIP. Unfortunately, she canceled over the weekend, so we had to get somebody else. Sir, are you still there? Hello, sir. Okay, so we're having.
I really wanted to ask him about.
Okay, so we have Honorable Chairman House Committee on Diaspora. Hello, sir, are you there? Okay, so we did try to get the DG NAPTIP, and she did confirm, but over the weekend, I guess because of what's going on, she had to step back on that. But we're trying to get the Chairman House Committee on International Affairs so we know exactly what their plans are to ensure, because we don't want this to keep happening. It keeps happening where young ladies who are smuggled or trafficked abroad are crying and saying that they regret even going in the first place, and they're hoping that the government can bring them back safely. But we have to find a way to nip this in the bud, and that's why we're having these agencies talk to us on what can be done collectively to ensure we don't have this. So we have Honorable Tolulokpe Akonde Shadipe, Chairman House Committee of on Diaspora. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm actually a man, not a star. Let's all get it straight. Females make it there too, not just all males. Especially coming from a female, I'm upset. We females must believe in ourselves and realize that we too can achieve one.
Well, unfortunately,
is unisex.
Yeah, so I do apologize. I did not know it was a male or it was a female. I do apologize for that. So we do believe in women, trust me. That's not even a question here. But either way, thank you for joining us this morning. Now, this issue of young ladies being trafficked, one of the issues we have is that once they get into these countries, they seize their passports. They're suddenly almost like slaves, and they lose every sense of identity because they are now being under somebody else's supervision. So our question, therefore, is what's the government doing to empower our agencies over there to be a real support for Nigerian citizens wherever they are in the world? And what laws do we have to ensure that these countries do not subject our citizens to malpractices across the world?
Okay. How much time do I have? Because this is a topic that you cannot give me 5 minutes or 10 minutes for. I shouldn't even be on this program. You'll notice that my voice will fluctuate. I haven't been feeling well. It's not COVID, but I've had a bout with malaria. I need to clarify that. And I need time to get to the bottom of this. First thing I must tell you is it's heartbreaking for me. And why is it heartbreaking? It's heartbreaking because I have the records and you don't have a clue what we're talking about here. You have seen a video of some young girls. They are just a minute amount. I'll tell you, today, approximately 20,000 young females are in Mali. 2,000 young females are in Saudi Arabia, 1,000 young females in Oman, 150 young females in Abu Dhabi, 2,000 young females in Dubai, 20,000 young females in Libya, living in very dehumanizing conditions. Some of the countries, even their governments don't know exactly where these girls are held because they're held in very remote places. As you all know, we also have the case of 35 Nigerians who have been held illegally in detention for more than 45 days in Ghana border, in a Ghana border town called Aflau. 18 others are held in Abidjan for over the past 2 years. Sulaiman Olufemi is on death row in Saudi Arabia. The House Committee on Diaspora has been working assiduously to ensure that this young man is not executed. Now, why do we have this problem? Nigerians trying to leave the country for better opportunities. Poverty, lack of education, lack of employment, corruption, gender inequality, and the very high rate of unemployment in Nigeria today. Minimum wage, for example, 18,000 to 30,000. Some places are still not paying that minimum wage. Some Nigerians out there blame these young ladies for wanting to leave the country, but I don't, and the House Committee on Diaspora does not, because we see it as them looking for better opportunities like you and I will always look for. Doctors go, nurses go, so why can't our other unskilled labor go, but be given the respect that they deserve in these countries? I will focus on Lebanon. It is sad that in spite of the long-term relationship Nigeria has had with Lebanon, from as early as the 20s, that it would be Lebanon as a country that would be involved with the maltreatment of Nigerians in their country. The number of Lebanese people in Nigeria who earn their economic empowerment in Nigeria and move these resources home. Towns in Lebanon have been built out of economic empowerment that they acquired here in Nigeria. So I would hold the Ministry of Foreign Affairs responsible to an extent. I would hold immigration responsible. I would hold NAPTIP responsible. I will hold Nigerians as a whole responsible, because the agents who traffic these young ladies are Nigerian citizens.
God bless you.
There's an agent right now who has trafficked 150 girls, has received $1,000 per girl, that is 150,000 naira. The girls claim that for every single girl that wants to leave, the agents pay immigration 50,000 naira at the departure point. This is what I am being told by the girls. It is unfortunate that NAPTIP cannot be here with us today. Very unfortunate, because NAPTIP too has issues, financial issues, that does not enable them achieve the objectives of their
Let me hold you for a second, wait, because we do have the immigration PRO also online. So I'd like him to respond first to that allegation that that person said. Sir, are you still there? Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes, so our guest just said that.
Actually, can I finish my point on immigration?
Sure, please.
Before immigration comes on.
Go ahead. Go ahead, madam.
Now, a few weeks ago, the House Committee set up an investigation where we invited immigration, Department of Labor, as in our Ministry of Labor. We invited Foreign Affairs, NAPTIP, Diaspora Commission. We did a thorough investigation. We were told that at the airport that there's a secondary check that immigration has. We visited the airport, we did not see any secondary. We did an oversight to the airport. We did not see any secondary checks. We cannot understand why immigration is not working closely with NAPTIP. Why NAPTIP does not have a presence at the airport. Because immigration has told us that they do not have the right to stop any Nigerian that has a visa from leaving the country. If NAPTIP was at the airport working in collaboration with immigration, NAPTIP will be able to identify trafficked girls and will be able to stop those girls from leaving the country. So as it relates to immigration. Those are the things I can think of.
All right, thank you very much. Sir, so I'd like you to respond to a few things. Number one, she said that one of the girls did confirm that immigration officers collect 50,000 naira before they leave. That's one. Number two, when they did investigation in the airport, there was no secondary security check. And there are no NAPTIP officials in the airports. Could you confirm to us exactly how that happened? Hello, sir, are you there? Could you respond to those? Yes.
It is unfortunate that we want to be doing media trial and saying some things in the public domain, which actually is supposed to be issues to be addressed by professionals. The Nigerian Immigration Service will not run away from responsibility of ensuring that regular migrants travel and irregular migrants are restricted from traveling, which we are doing. With due respect to her honorable, I cannot imagine our officers who are in the cubicle with other agencies seated by their side collecting 50,000 naira to allow a migrant to travel. And for emphasis, you don't have any reason giving 50,000 naira to anybody when your passport is valid, when you have a valid visa, and you are supposed to travel to such a country. And by implication, how do you even do that kind of a transaction? For somebody, because the person who's supposed to clear you is supposed to be the person in the cubicle.
Sir.
So who do you now give such kind of money to that will clear you?
Sir, I would rather that you also investigate these allegations, because the agents paying is not the person complaining. It's the girls who see them pay and have reported to the Honorable as a member of the Committee on Diaspora. I think I'd rather you investigate your staff to see if that is being done. It's most likely. For the benefit of doubt,
I spoke with one of the girls. I spoke with one of the girls on Saturday. Her name is Comfort Toyin. I had a personal call with her, and she never mentioned anything. On Saturday, called the young lady and asked, was there any conversation between her, the public relations officer of immigration? And that meeting did not just end at me speaking with her. Even the ambassador was on a conference with me. Even the ambassador was on a conference with me, and the officer in charge of foreign desk, the special assistant to the General Foreign Desk, we tried to mitigate the issue of even the video.
Right.
I had to advise the young lady that they should stop making videos and be posting in a foreign country to avoid anything that will lead to their being further embarrassed. They should rather communicate directly to the sources.
Okay.
Just like they contacted a journalist that called me, and the journalist was given a number, and I spoke with the girl, and they were very happy for it.
All right. Let me go on a quick break, sir.
Comfort Toyin. She was the lady actually.
Right. We'll try. Comfort was supposed to be on the show this morning also.
Like 50,000 to me.
Sir, Comfort is supposed to be on this show. We're still trying to call her, so we'll confirm these allegations. But let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Topo had a question.
Yes, I have a question for the Honorable. Ma, I feel I tend to feel like the House of Assembly have so much power that is not being as utilized as it can be. On this show, I've brought allegations against the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for not doing enough, actually for not being visible. And this is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs job. I don't know if diaspora affects the foreign affairs, but I feel that there must be a job done by the House of Representatives to call the Foreign Affairs Minister to order concerning these abuses happening back to back. Also, I know that in Nigeria we have a lot of, and I've mentioned it over and over again, Philippines. The Filipinos send their citizens to Nigeria, and there is a system with which they monitor that every citizen of Philippines that comes to Nigeria isn't abused. They are well paid and well taken care of. Why don't we have such structure in other countries like Lebanon? We have a good relationship with them. What can the minister do? What would you do to ensure the minister does what is best to protect Nigerians over there?
My dear, if I would be given a few minutes, I will run through what the House has done. The House, as I said, did this investigative hearing. In the process, we found out issues about immigration, some of which I have raised. Ministry of Labor and Productivity is the ministry that is issuing licenses to the agents. There has been a moratorium on licenses to 20 still issued licenses. Those are the results of our investigation, which is ongoing. I raised a motion last week, Thursday, and this motion raised some pertinent action that the House of Representatives is insisting that the executive, Mr. President, ensure that the Ministry of Labor complies. The minister refused to appear before us. The PS of the ministry had the audacity to walk out on the committee investigation under oath, because it was found out that the Ministry of Labor lied under oath. It is the Ministry of Labor, not Foreign Affairs, that is responsible for monitoring any of domestic workers that have been taken abroad. Every year, they're supposed to receive reports from these agents showing exactly who is where, what they are doing, what countries they are located. Labor has not been doing it. They were not able to bring in any documents during our investigation. They lied under oath. Two, Ministry of Labor has been giving licenses to agents during the moratorium to traffic people to countries where there is no bilateral labor agreement. Another finding. Now, Foreign Affairs, on the other hand, has not been funding the foreign ministry, the foreign embassies, enough to ensure that they're able to come to the aid of these ladies when they're in trouble. So there are a lot of issues that came out in our investigation. On Thursday last week, on behalf of the Committee on Diaspora, I moved a motion in the House before we went on recess. We're currently working on a bill to further empower NAPTIP, to ensure that NAPTIP is able to curb what is going on. NIDCOM, the Diaspora Commission, at the same time, who could have helped as well, is cash-strapped, does not have the funding required to, it's not their mandate, but they have been assisting, but they don't have the kind of funding required. Right now, an emergency fund needs to be provided by the executive to get these girls home, our children, not only from Lebanon, from Mali. There are 20,000 Nigerian girls living in tents who were trafficked, some to go and teach English, some were trafficked. Yes, those young, innocent girls are held in tents, being held as slaves, sex slaves in tents, living in tents in Mali. That is an African country.
Okay, let me get a few questions for you, Ma. Yeah, go ahead.
Ma? So thank you, Ma, for talking about the dignity of labor of our workers, our non-skilled workers in those countries. I want to quickly, I want you to to address the issue because of those that are not trafficked, those that are enslaved in countries like Oman that we don't have those relations with. In cases where people are given a letter of employment for a valid professional job, but they get to these countries and the residents of those countries are allowed to seize their passports and enslave them. What does the Nigerian government, what can we do to ensure that such cases are not just prevented, but such infractions are punished in those countries? Do we have those relations to punish? Because earlier I was asking the immigration officer if there's a way we could ensure that we know the job is the same that they're going to do.
Now, Oman, this weekend, the Nigerian community in Oman helped to bring some girls back home. They paid for those girls to come back home. They had their passports. One of the young girls who is from Oyo State, who I have been conversing with regularly, was not allowed to board that flight because her employer refused to give her a passport. So what you're talking about is real. Now, I am throwing a challenge, which I did during the investigation. It was a very, very, I was termed a very aggressive woman by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a result of that investigation, because I insisted that we need to move away from colonial mentality. And our Ministry of Foreign Affairs should stop hiding under diplomacy, and begin to fight for the rights of Nigerians abroad. The only way this can be achieved is by funding the embassies, and then also by having conversations with the government of Oman. Oman does not have an embassy. So they need to start a conversation where we take an aircraft into Oman and we take our people out of Oman. Nigeria, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs needs to begin to understand the value of that Nigerian passport to a Nigerian, the respect that that passport deserves. No country has a right to hold on to our passport. Nobody. And we cannot continue to hide under diplomacy, and continue to let countries and people and citizens of those countries illegally oppress our people, subjugate the sovereignty of our country, Nigeria. That is the responsibility of foreign affairs. So if I had had more time, I would have gone through every single agency of the executive, every ministry that has a responsibility to uphold, and this can be achieved if every hand is on deck.
Right.
NAPTIP, Immigration, Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Labor. We have asked during the motion, we asked that the president mandates the Minister of Labor to appear before this investigation committee.
Very important.
And the House has adopted it. It was adopted last week, Thursday, and something is being done about it.
Thank you very much.
Productivity and labor encourage these agents. These agents have become very powerful people, where to the point they have committed murder. They murdered a member of Project Ferry, an NGO that has been working very, very committed to ensuring our girls come home. The Nigerian police needs to ensure that when NAPTIP brings these agents to them, that they prosecute these agents. It's not a one ministry issue.
Right.
It is a joint collaboration, and it can only be achieved by a commitment, not denials, by a commitment. I have spoken and have met with the Controller General of Immigration, and he too agreed with me that yes, we have a problem.
Yes.
But that immigration's hands are tied in that they cannot stop people with valid visas.
Thank you very much.
We told them that you have to stop people with valid visas, and then do a further review and let the ones that should go.
Right.
And for example, 2 weeks ago, immigration stopped a Lebanese from taking 6 girls out of Nigeria. They did the right thing, but it's not always that they do the right thing. Now, there's a Lebanese man in jail in Kwara State. This man is in jail for human trafficking. Yes. And when we are talking about human trafficking, yes, the people have visas, but when they get to the countries they're going to, they're not allowed to do the work they were sent to do, or they are treated like slaves. So it still falls under human trafficking.
Right.
This man has trafficked a certain number of girls. Some of them came back in the batch that I met at the airport the other time. Those girls came back not being compensated for any money for the time they spent there as slaves.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up here, Ma. We've run out of time. I do apologize. I do apologize. There's so much you said. We can't cover it in a show. We need to bring you up because we've seen the work you've done. We've heard you loud and clear. We've seen that there's quite a number of agencies that are responsible. It's not just one. There's NAPTIP, there's the Ministry of Labor, there's Immigration, there's the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, and there's the police, and also the National Assembly. So all hands must be on deck, as you've rightly said, to ensure the safe return of these girls, this unskilled labor that we're losing to trafficking. Unfortunately, that's all we can take. We'll be speaking with the Honorable Minister and the Honorable Member of the National Assembly, Tolulokwe Akonde Shadipe, Chairman, House Committee on Diaspora. And we had the PRO also, who was with us earlier. Thank you very much, sir, for the PRO of Immigration, Mr. James, the Nigerian Immigration Service, James Sunday. That's all we can take. When we come back, another really disturbing story about young ladies whose life was cut short. Her and her friend in Lagos over the weekend. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. According to reports, a 27-year-old young lady was killed in an accident at Isalamaja bus stop, Ilasamaja, by a fallen trailer. Joining us on the show is the victim's brother, Obinna Ajoko, and the victim's mother, Chineze Ajoko. Good morning, Ma. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Hello, sir. Are you there?
Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us.
Thank
Obinna,
you.
is that you? Yes. Once again, we'd like to say we're sorry for your loss. And we pray that God will continue to, that her soul will rest in peace.
Amen.
And our hearts go out to you and the family and entire family of the Ajokus.
Yeah.
We saw your mom's video, which went viral, obviously, because of the fact that nobody has been brought to book, considering all the amount of trucks and all the tankers and all the containers that have fallen in the past, especially in this Lagos state. We haven't really seen justice being served. Let me ask you first. In doing that video, what's the objective of the family? What were you trying to get exactly? What's the objective of doing that video to the public?
Who, me or my mom?
Yeah, what was the general objective? What are we trying to do? We're trying to achieve justice, I know, but could you just give us an idea what the video was about?
Yes, I had to organize for that video. In fact, it was my daughter's best friend that videoed me, and I asked her to send it to make sure it goes viral.
Yes.
So that the whole world will know what is happening, you know, because most times when such things happen, we just say it on the news and nothing happens, and at the end, they are still doing the same thing. So this time around, I said, no, I think let's publicize this thing. It's not because I want money or anything, but at least let justice be done. That is number one. And secondly, let there be, you know, a law, so that if the police or the authorities, LASMA and road safety, when they see such trucks carrying containers and they are not lashed onto the trucks, then they'll pay penalty. They can even be in prison because people's lives are at stake.
Right.
So I had to publish it, or else it will continue.
Right. Okay.
Well, sorry about your loss, ma. Now, the young lady that died, how did anybody reach out to you after she, you know, like after she was murdered in that way? Did the truck driver, the company he works for, or anybody at all, did they reach out to you so that we understand what the company, you know, whose cargo was being ferried by that truck, what they have, what provisions they have for such things?
Well, let me say that when we waited for her, she was staying with my friend in Surulere and going to work in farm while we live at Ajah. So my friend called me and said that she hadn't come home, and that was around 9, which was very unusual. So I called her, one of her colleagues, and she said that she left with a young guy who was also her colleague called Chima. And they left at the same time. They were on morning duty, so they closed around 4. And so my friend was expecting her latest 6:36. And it was on a Sunday. So when she didn't come back, she called me. I called the colleague, and they said they left, and that Chima's dad came to the office to ask her, you know, about his son, and that there was so much traffic because he said there was a container that fell on the other side while he was going to the airport to look for his child, because his son's phone was switched off. So we were waiting. I continued calling my daughter till 2 a.m. rather, and I slept off. It was around 6 in the morning that one of our colleagues called and said that she was at a Solo General Hospital. And together with my friend, we rushed there, and they asked us to go to Yaba, a hospital in Yaba, where she was identified.
Right. Mrs. Ajoku, has anybody reached out to you so far, either from the government or private sector? Has any company reached out to you so far since this happened?
Well, her colleagues.
Anyone from the government?
Okay, from her company.
From the company whose cargo that truck was carrying, whoever owns the truck, the container in question, did they reach out to you? Did they have a compensation plan? Just to understand.
I even sent it to the police station, and they said that the driver absconded and that the owner called, but he had not come. That once the owner comes, they will arrest him. But that was on Tuesday, 6 days ago. Up to now, we have not heard anything.
Once again, we can't say it enough that we're really sorry for your loss. And the worry is that we've had this happen many times. It could happen to anybody. There's nobody immune to these challenges happening to. I want to ask, though, that maybe you or your son, have any of you reached out to what's the process? What are you doing? Because I know that you did a video, but what legal actions have you taken? Have you taken, and who do you believe you should institute the legal actions against? We on the show have pushed a bit for this, but we want, most of the time, most people that have that have suffered this loss tend to just pray and let it go for God to handle. But what legal actions are you taking to prosecute this company?
Right. Obinna, would you like to take that? Okay.
What?
Obinna, would you like to take that question? So, according to Tokwe, what are the next steps? Yes.
Let her take it because she knows more of the information.
Okay. 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 Go ahead, ma.
Well, I belong to an association of my old girls going school in Ugo, and they are taking it up.
Okay.
The legal aspect, they are taking
Very
it
important.
up.
Fantastic. Because we do have the plate number of the truck. That much information we have. So there's a possibility to trace the owner. So these are obviously things the police can help us investigate. So my question therefore is, how far are you in constant talks with the police, or are you getting a lawyer, or are you going to just let the association handle it completely for you?
There are lawyers in the association, so they will decide, and they are working on it very fast. They are working on it.
But would you like
would
you like compensation on this, ma?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello?
So would you like a conversation? Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Would you? I mean, rightfully, in any part of the world that these kind of things happen, compensation is always is deemed appropriate at this time. I know you're not asking for money, but if the company does approach you for compensation, is that something you'd be willing to accept?
My lawyer, the lawyer will decide on that.
The lawyer would advise on it.
It's something that you have to discuss with the lawyer.
So let's now discuss how we can all work together to end this. So thank you for the video that you've done, because obviously it's getting the attention required. How else would you join hands with the government to ensure this doesn't happen? What other things would you like us to do to support your work in ensuring this doesn't happen again?
Well, I'll like, it's really good that you guys were able to reach out, and the more this is public, the more the government should take action to it. Because I mean, this is Nigeria. Most bad things that happen in Nigeria is always swept under the bucket, and they just allow it go, for allow time pass. But I want it to continue being publicized so that they should regulate their laws. People should follow the laws. It should not be something that will stay because we're in a lawless country, that it can just be reckless. I mean, someone's life was lost, 2 people's lives were lost, and they haven't even reached out to us yet, the owner of the job. So it just shows you how they don't value people's lives here, and that should change. Nigeria, we are one. Why should this be happening? So I want, as much as the media is helping, they should continue to allow people get noted about this, so that not just we seek justice, but that there are rules and regulations, but that there are rules and regulations are being paid.
Right. Thank you very much. We don't want to keep you on for too long, because we know that you're still hurting at this time, and our hearts go out to you and your entire family. Thank you, Mrs. Ajoko, for joining us this morning. We appreciate your joining us on the show, and we'll continue to do our own part to ensure that people that own these trucks are brought to book, because the truth is that the drivers run away, but if we can get the plate numbers, we should be able to trace and be able to bring justice to the victims.
The government needs to do more, because we've said it over and over again. The trucks are in bad condition, and you can see them visibly in bad condition. So as maybe it's something they can set up a foundation in the name of this girl who lost her life, but something must be done to specifically tie down that this life is the last we would lose to a container falling over.
It's not the first time, all the pictures have been rolling for the past few minutes, and all the various accidents have happened in Lagos and other places where...
It's happened on that same Oshodi, that Papa Oshodi Expressway, not the first and the second time. Nima has been on this show saying that you be beside trailers and you're worried that because there are some potholes on the road, that the sight of the potholes on its own can cause a trailer to tip over.
Loss of lives. These people also deplete our infrastructure.
Yes.
So the Badagry Expressway that is under construction is at least 10 years, just less than 10 years old. And at the Mile 2 bus stop, you see there are falling containers, destroying those infrastructure. They will come at the middle of the night, pay the area boys, pick up their trucks, and leave the problem there. So we continue to mend and repair what they do. I think the government should be holistic about the solution towards this.
The owners of the truck must pay.
There must be consequence for your truck. There's vicarious liability for your truck drivers when they've taken a life. That's why I was asking whether the company has a policy or they have provisions for this. They should have reached out to that family already. In fact, the next day, they should have sent a team there. There are different container terminals operating and there are truck drivers trying to take out goods or take containers back to them. There are companies, plenty too many to count.
Right.
The one that happened in Mile 2 the other day, cut off this lady's leg, she bled to death. If that lady didn't die, probably would live a very, very depressed life. The danger and damage is just too far wide for us to continue to use trucks on our roads. If our railway will kick off soon to take care of cargo, that will really relieve us.
What I was going to say.
But we can't continue to allow these people to deplete in the name of creating employment. Let them deplete our infrastructure like that.
And people must be compensated for this kind of thing.
Yes,
no matter how
should.
small or how grievous it is, people must be compensated and people must be brought to book in these kind of situations. That's all we can take on today's show. We've learned quite a bit. See you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.